Hello, I'm Susan Peters. It's National Adoption Month, and Susan's Kids is busting some myths about adoption.
We have lots of individual parents that adopt, single parents. You don't have to be married, you don't have to own your own home, you don't have to be wealthy to adopt. You just have to be able to prove through a home assessment that you're able to care for a child and meet that child's needs. I think one really the biggest common misconception that we hear is that adoption is expensive. Adoption from foster care is relatively free. Of course, adoption from foster care is different from private infant adoption that does require you to pay fees. But adoption from foster care, all you essentially have to pay for is meeting that child's needs. Your home assessment is covered by the state, court fees, finalization fees, filing fees, all of those things. So it's relatively, really affordable. I think the myth that older youth don't want to be adopted is a pretty strong misconception because teenagers are afraid of the unknown. The idea of being placed with an unfamiliar family or achieving permanency, they've experienced a lot of rejection and trauma in their life. Of course, older youth in foster care have to consent to their own adoption, and so social workers work through that with them and make sure that this is something that they're comfortable with and making sure that their voice is heard, because we know that when children get to have a say and get some agency over their own life, they're a lot more apt to want to participate in that process. I think another common myth that we hear is, and what gives people hesitation about wanting to foster or adopt from foster care, is that children in foster care are bad or dangerous. And I think it's important for families to remember, especially if they're considering adoption or foster care, that children that have experienced trauma and adversity in their life have big emotions. They've experienced tough things. And usually those emotions that they're displaying are a direct reflection of the unresolved trauma and experiences that they've been through. There are resources available for children in foster care. They receive medical card assistance, they have therapy available to them, and it's also important for families to realize that before a child is placed in your home, you will have gone through training, and you'll learn about ways to manage big emotions from children that have experienced hard things. Well, I think another myth that we hear a lot specifically is that families are hesitant to adopt because they think that you have to have everything together. And that's not true even for parenting children born to you. We know that if you have room in your heart and room in your home to meet a child's needs, that you can be successful. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There's a team of professionals to help make sure that you are successful. If after hearing this information you feel compelled to provide a child permanency and a stable home that they need, you can contact Adopt Kansas Kids. Our number is 1-855-ADOPT-KS. We have a team of family and child specialists to help support you and answer any questions that you have about adoption from foster care.
Susan's Kids, sponsored by Brandon Stephen Motors.